It's time for us to shine the spotlight on Anansi the Spider. Anansi the Spider books are written by Eric Kimmel, and their pictures are by Janet Stevens. This is one that we actually had at our Baker Park story walk, but I thought it was a really good way for us to meet Anansi, who is a very tricky and lazy spider. This is called Anansi and the Moss-Covered Rock. Once upon a time, Anansi the spider was walking through the forest when something caught his eye. It was a strange, moss-covered rock. "How interesting," Anansi said. "Isn't this a strange, moss-covered rock?" Kapum! Everything went black. Down fell Anansi, senseless. An hour later, Anansi woke up and his head was, spinning. He wondered what happened. "I was walking along when something caught my eye. I stopped and said, 'Isn't this a strange moss-covered rock?' Kaboom! Down fell Anansi again, but this time, when he woke up an hour later, he knew what was happening. 'Aha,' said Anansi, 'this is a magic rock. And whenever anyone comes along and says the magic words, "Isn't this a strange down he goes.' This is a good thing to know," said Anansi, "and I know just how to use it." So Anansi went walking through the forest until he came to Lion's house. Lion was sitting on the porch, and at his feet was a great pile of yams. That's another word for sweet potato. Anansi loved yams, but he was too lazy to dig them up himself. Anansi said to Lion, "Hello, Lion. It is very hot today. Don't you think so?" "Yes, Anansi," said Lion. "It is terribly hot." "Well, I am going for a walk in the cool forest," said Anansi. "Would you like to come?" "I certainly would," said Lion. So Lion and Anansi went walking through the forest, and after a while, Anansi led Lion to a certain place. You know what's there, right? "Lion, do you see what I see?" "Oh, yes, Anansi," said Lion. "Isn't this a strange, moss-covered rock?" Kaboom! Down fell Lion, and Anansi ran all the way back to Lion's house and made off with Lion's yams. That means he took them. Well, an hour later, Lion woke up and his head was spinning. Anansi was nowhere in sight, and when he got home, he found that every single one of his yams was gone. Lion was very sad. But Anansi was very happy. He couldn't wait to play his trick again. Once more, Anansi went walking through the forest, and this time he stopped at Elephant's house. Elephant was sitting on his porch, and at Elephant's feet was a great pile of bananas. Anansi loved bananas, but he was too lazy to pick them himself. So he said to Elephant, "Hello, Elephant. Isn't it hot today?" "Oh, it is," Elephant agreed. "I am going for a walk in the cool forest," Anansi said. "Would you like to come?" "Why, that sounds nice," said Elephant. "Thank you for inviting me, Anansi." So Anansi and Elephant went walking through the forest, and after a while, Anansi led Elephant to a certain place. "Elephant, look! Do you see what I see?" Elephant looked. "Yes, I do, Anansi. Isn't this a strange, moss-covered rock?" Kaboom! Down fell Elephant, and Anansi ran back to Elephant's house and made off with all the bananas. An hour later, Elephant woke up. His head was spinning. Anansi was nowhere in sight, and when he got home, Elephant found that every single one of his bananas was gone. Elephant was very sad. But Anansi, was very happy. Why, he couldn't wait to play his trick again. He played it on Rhinoceros. Kaboom! He played it on hippopotamus. Kaboom! He played it on giraffe. Kaboom! And zebra. Kaboom! He played it on every single animal in the forest. But all this time, watching from behind the leaves was Little Bush Deer. Little Bush Deer is small and shy and very hard to see. She watched Anansi play his wicked trick again and again on all the other animals. Little Bush Deer decided it was time for Anansi to learn a lesson. So Little Bush Deer went deep into the forest where the coconut trees grow. And she climbed a coconut tree and threw down a great many coconuts. She carried as many of them back home in a basket as she could and set them on her porch. And then she sat down to wait. Can you guess for who? In a little while, along came Anansi. Anansi's eyes lit up when he saw Little Bush Deer's coconuts. Anansi loved coconuts. Oh, he loved to eat the tender white coconut meat and drink the sweet coconut milk inside. But he was much too lazy to gather coconuts himself. Instead, he said, "Hello, Little Bush Deer. It is so hot today." Little Bush Deer smiled. "It is very hot, Anansi. I am going for a walk in the cool forest. Would you like to come?" "Oh, yes, I would," said Little Bush Deer. So Anansi and Little Bush Deer went walking, walking, walking in the cool forest. And after a while, Anansi led Little Bush Deer to a certain spot. "Oh, Little Bush Deer, look over there. Do you see what I see?" Little Bush Deer knew all about Anansi's trick, so she looked. But then she shook her head. "No, Anansi, I don't see anything." "Oh, you must see it. Look very carefully," said Anansi. So Little Bush Deer looked. "No, I still don't see anything," she said. Anansi began to get angry. "You must see it. Look over here. Look right where I'm pointing. Do you see it now?" "No, Anansi," said Little Bush Deer. Oh, Anansi stomped his legs. "You see it. You just don't want to say it." "Say what?" asked Little Bush Deer. "You know." "Is that what I'm supposed to say?" "Well, yes," said Anansi. "All right, then I will say it to make you happy." "You know," said Little Bush Deer. "There, I said it. Are you happy now?" "No!" Anansi shouted. "You're not supposed to say you know." "Well, what am I supposed to say?" "You're supposed to say, 'Isn't this a strange moss-covered rock?'" Kaboom! Down fell Anansi. Now Little Bush Deer ran and got all the other animals, and together they went to Anansi's house and took back all the good things that he had stolen from them. Yams, bananas, watermelons, pineapples, pomegranates, and it looks like grapefruit. And an hour later, Anansi woke up. His head was spinning. Little Bush Deer was nowhere in sight. And when he got home, he found his house as empty as it was before. But if you think Anansi learned his lesson, you're mistaken, because he's still playing tricks to this very day. Now, if you ever borrow this book from the library, remember to look for Little Bush Deer, because Little Bush Deer is hiding on every single page, watching Anansi do his trickery. All right, we're going to be making our very own Anansi spiders. I don't know where the best place to hold this is because I don't want it black against black. So I'm going to adjust the camera and we'll get started. So for this craft, in your bag, if you picked one up from the library, you will have found a half sheet of black cardstock and a bag It has a lot of stuff in it, but what you're going to want are the two little googly eyes. So let me take those out. We'll save the other things for our other crafts. All right. So move this out of the way. And what you're going to need from home is a pencil, some scissors, and a glue stick. To start off, what you're going to want to do is to fold your paper in half, just like this, okay? And then you're going to want to put your fingers right on the paper so that your knuckles are right near the fold of the paper. There's the open side, there's the fold. So I want to have my knuckles right on the fold. And actually I'm going to use my other hand because I'm right-handed and I'm going to need to hold my pencil with this one. So spread your fingers out. Those are going to wind up being your spider's legs. And then trace around on your paper. Trace around each finger. And you should be easily able to fit yours on because your hand is smaller than mine. So I don't know if you can see that. There we go. You can see that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers that are going to be 4 legs of the spider. And when we cut them out and open the paper, we'll actually have 8. So let me cut them out. And if cutting is hard for you, maybe mom or dad or whoever you're with could cut these out for you. And you can just stand by with your eyes, being ready to put them on. Done with my scissors. Now I'm going to open it up. And there's my spider. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 legs because that's what spiders have. Then I'm just going to get my glue stick and put a little bit of glue on the back of the Google eye, or you could put it right on the paper if you wanted to. Sometimes that's easier to do. Just do 2 circles and then pop your googly eyes right on there and press it down. And there's Anansi the spider. All right, so let's close that up. And what does Anansi need? He needs a spider web. So also in your bag, you should find a paper plate that won't do you much good for eating because I've cut out the center part. I've also punched holes around the outside. And then in your bag, you should also have some white yarn. So the first thing you're going to want to do is find the end of your yarn. And for this, I'm going to suggest you have some Scotch tape handy as well. And let me think if there was anything else I needed us to have. Just Scotch tape. I thought about putting needles in your bag, but I think if we do it this way, you can pretend that the Scotch tape is actually your needle that you can use to thread through the holes. So I'm just wrapping the Scotch tape right around the end of my yarn to make it a little stiffer. It might remind you of the end of a shoelace. So it's just like that. And that'll just make it a little easier to put it through the holes. So you're going to start from the back and push your needle or your piece of taped yarn through the back. And this could take a while. You're going to want to pull it all the way through. And I gave you plenty of yarn because you're going to want to go back and forth a bit. So, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of Scotch tape and just tape that there so it doesn't come loose. Just like that. Okay. Then take your piece of yarn and you're going to start threading it through the holes. Now, if you're coming through up on this one, you want to make sure you're going down through a hole. You don't want to go wrap it around the outside. So I'm going to go down here, and I'm not necessarily going to go right across from where I was, but I'm going to pull that yarn all the way through. And then I'm going to take the end on the back side. I'm going to go over one hole and put it through from the back and then pull it through. Take my end and doesn't matter what hole you go through. I'm going to do mine randomly around the outside edge, but I'm going to put it through. Pull it taut, not real tight, but taut. That's what they called it. And then come up through another hole. Pull it through. And go down through a hole on the other side. And if it gets knotted, don't pull harder, just take your time and unknot it. Sometimes it gets tangled. All right. And just keep going around. And it doesn't matter if you use a hole more than once. And just keep doing it until you've used up all your yarn. You want to wind up on the back side. I think I may be able to do a couple more. There's one. So this is going to work out just fine. I'm going to wind up on the back. Does that look like a spider web? It does to me. So then what I can do is I can find that other piece that I taped behind before and tie them together. Just to keep it secure in the back. So tie it in a knot. And then trim your ends. And just to keep it secure, tape it down. there's your spider web for Anansi. And I think I'm just going to kind of weave him through. So now that we've made our own spiders, would you like to learn a little bit more about them? We already learned that they have 8 legs. Did you know spiders hatch from eggs? They do. And baby spiders are called spiderlings. They spin silk. That's how they make their webs. They like to eat live insects. And they usually don't bite people, most spiders. They can have any number of eyes. Some don't have eyes at all. Some might have 2. Some have as many as 12. But they use their eyes in different ways. And if you want to know more about spiders, you know a good place to go is the library, because we have lots of information books about spiders that will help you answer all your questions that you might have about spiders. But right now, we're going to have another story. This is called Anansi Goes Fishing. It's, again, by Eric Kimmel with pictures by Janet Stevens, one of my favorite illustrators. And we're going to go down to the river for this one. And we'll meet one of Anansi's friends, Turtle. Now, one fine afternoon, Anansi the spider was walking by the river when he saw his friend Turtle coming toward him carrying a large fish. Anansi loved to eat fish, but he was much too lazy to catch them himself. "Where did you get that fish?" he asked Turtle. "I caught it today when I went fishing," Turtle replied. "Well, I want to learn to catch fish too," Anansi said. "Will you teach me?" "Oh, certainly," said Turtle. "Meet me by the river tomorrow. We'll go fishing together. 2 can do twice the work of 1. But Anansi did not intend to do any work at all. "Turtle is slow and stupid," he said to himself. "I will trick him into doing all the work, and then I will take the fish for myself." But Turtle was not as stupid as Anansi thought. The next morning, Turtle arrived. "Are you ready to get started, Anansi?" "Oh, yes," said Anansi. "I've been waiting a long time. I want to learn to catch fish as well as you do." Do you see he's got some string and a lawn chair. "First we will make a net," said Turtle. "Net making is hard work. When I do it myself, I work and I get tired. But since there are 2 of us, we can share the task. One of us can work while the other gets tired." "Well, I don't want to get tired," said Anansi. "I'll make the net. You can get tired." "All right," said Turtle. So he showed Anansi how to weave a net, and then he lay down on the riverbank. "This is hard work," Anansi said. "I know," Turtle replied, yawning. "I'm getting very tired." Anansi worked all day weaving the net, and the harder he worked, the more tired Turtle grew. Turtle yawned and stretched, and finally he went to sleep. And after many hours, the net was done. "Wake up, Turtle," said Anansi. "The net is finished." Turtle rubbed his eyes. "Oh, this net is strong and light. You are a fine net maker, Anansi. I know you worked hard because I'm very tired. Why, I am so tired, I have to go home and sleep. Meet me here tomorrow, and we'll catch the fish then." So the next morning, Turtle met Anansi by the river again. "Today we're going to set the net in the river," Turtle said. Do you see what he brought this time? He's got a cooler and a sun umbrella. I didn't know you needed that for fishing. Now that is hard work. Yesterday you worked while I got tired, so today I'll work while you get tired. No, said Anansi. "I would rather work than get tired." "All right," said Turtle. So while Anansi worked hard, setting the net in the river, Turtle lay on the riverbank getting so tired, he finally fell asleep. "Wake up, Turtle," Anansi said hours later. "The net is set. I'm ready to start catching fish." Turtle yawned. "I'm too tired to do any more work today, Anansi. Meet me here tomorrow morning, and we'll catch the fish then. A turtle met Anansi on the riverbank the next morning. I can hardly wait to catch fish, Anansi said. Oh, that's good, said Turtle. Catching fish is hard work. Now, you worked hard these past 2 days, Anansi, so I think I should work today and let you get tired. Oh, no, said Anansi. I want to catch fish. I don't want to get tired. All right, said Turtle. Whatever you wish. So Anansi worked hard all day, pulling the net out of the river while Turtle lay back, getting very, very tired. How pleased Anansi was to find a large fish caught in the net. What do we do now? He asked Turtle. Turtle yawned. Now we cook the fish. Cooking is hard work. I think I should cook while you get tired. No, said Anansi. He did not want to share any bit of that fish. I will cook. You get tired. Well, while Turtle watched, Anansi built a fire and cooked the fish from head to tail. That fish smells delicious, Turtle said. You are a good cook, Anansi, and you worked hard. I know because I'm very, very tired. And now it's time to eat the fish. When I eat by myself, I eat and get full. But since there are 2 of us, we should share the task. One of us should eat while the other gets full. Which do you want to do? I don't want to get full, said Anansi, thinking only of his stomach. Well, then I will eat, said Turtle, and he began to eat while Anansi lay back and waited for his stomach to get full. Are you full yet? Turtle asked Anansi. Not yet. Keep eating. Turtle ate some more. Are you full yet? No. Keep eating. Turtle ate some more. Are you full yet? Not at all, said Anansi. I'm as empty as when you started. Oh, that's too bad, Turtle told him, because I'm full. And all the fish is gone. What? Anansi cried. Oh, it was true. Turtle had eaten the whole fish from nose to tail. You cheated me, Anansi yelled when he realized what had happened. I did not, Turtle replied. You did. You made me do all the work and then you ate the fish yourself. You won't get away with this. I'm going to the justice tree. So Anansi ran to the justice tree, and Warthog sat beneath its branches. Warthog was fair and an honest judge. All the animals brought their quarrels to him. What do you want, Anansi? Warthog asked. I want justice, Anansi said. Turtle cheated me. We went fishing together, and he tricked me into doing all the work, and then he ate the fish himself. Turtle deserves to be punished. Now, Warthog knew how lazy Anansi was, and he couldn't imagine him working hard at anything. Did you really do all the work? He asked. Well, yes, Anansi replied. Well, what did you do? I wove the net. I set the net in the river. I caught the fish, and I cooked it. That is a lot of work. You must have gotten very tired. Oh no, said Anansi. I didn't get tired at all. Turtle got tired, not me. Warthog frowned. Turtle got tired? What did he do? Nothing. Well, if he did nothing, why did he get tired? Anansi, I don't believe you. No one gets tired by doing nothing. If Turtle got tired, then he must have done all the work, and you're not telling the truth. Go home now and stop making trouble. And Warthog had spoken. There was nothing more to be said. Anansi went home in disgrace, and it was a long time before he spoke to Turtle again. But some good came out of it. Anansi learned how to weave nests and how to use them to catch food. He taught his friends how to do it, and they taught their friends, and soon spiders all over the world were weaving. And to this day, wherever you find spiders, you will find their nets. And they are called spider webs. Well, we're going to have another craft, but I think you might need a snack, and we're actually going to make spiders with our snack. So I'll be back in a minute. Anansi was pretty hungry at the end of that story because he never did get any fish. I'm wondering if you're a little hungry after listening to a couple of stories. So let's make a snack together. In your bag, you will have found a separate little plastic pouch that has 2 Oreos in it, some pretzel sticks, and 2 candy eyes. Now these are Oreos that are, well, they're mega stuffed ones, which means they're not regular Oreos, they're not double stuffed, they've got extra frosting in between. And I wanted that because I wanted something that we can be poking our spider's legs, which are what the pretzel sticks will be, inside easily without separating the cookie. This is what it's going to wind up looking like. Looks like a spider, right? I know I'd like to eat it. I don't know if Anansi would. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take one of your cookies, and I gave you extras, and just twist it so that the cookie part comes off and you've got the frosting showing. We're going to use some of that frosting for glue. Then you're going to want to take 4 of your pretzel sticks, and it doesn't really matter. I gave you extras because we're going to break them in 2, and they might not break easily for you. And also you may want to eat the rest of them. So let's just take 4 of them, set the rest aside, and take a look at your pretzel stick. You want to find where the middle is. Put your fingers close together and then break it in 2 so that you've got 2 pieces. There are 2 legs, 2 more, 2 more, and last. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that enough for the spider's legs? We've learned that it is. So then, holding your cookie, you're going to gently push the pretzels in, 4 on one side, and hold it together because when you're pushing in, you're actually forcing some of that frosting to want to come out. So there's one side. So there, the spider's legs are all in. Then take one of your other pretzel sticks, dip it into the frosting, paint it on the back of your candy eyeballs. And I don't know if I said it. These candy eyeballs are ones I bought quite a while ago, so I really don't recommend eating them. Most of the time they are made to be eaten, but these have been around for a while. They're just for decoration because they're pretty hard and I don't want you to break your teeth. So after you've got the glue on the back, just press it down. Then get a little bit more to paint on the back of the second one. Press it down. Oop. Come back here, eyeball. And there's my spider. Doesn't he look yummy? I think so. Well, we've got one more craft that we're going to do, so I'll stop here, clear this space, and get ready to teach you how to do something that Anansi really should have learned how to do, catch a fish. Well, I don't know if Anansi learned any lessons. He did learn how to fish using a net, but we're going to try another way of fishing, which is what you might use if you were going down to our lake here in Canandaigua. You would learn to fish with a fishing pole. So the last materials in your craft bag will be a cardboard straw, and this is a pretty sturdy one, so it'll make a good fishing rod, a piece of string, 4 button magnets, a couple of fish and some glue dots. And these are little sticky dots of glue that you can use to put the magnets on your fish and on your fishing pole. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to want to do is to take your string and tie it around your fishing pole. And I always like to do it twice. So tie it once and then tie it again so it's nice and tight. I can do that off camera, I think. But there's my string tied around my fishing pole. And if you want, you can trim that off with a pair of scissors. And if you're concerned about it sliding off, you can always put a little bit of Scotch tape on your straw too. Just wrap it around so that your string stays right in place. And you probably want it right at the end. The next thing you're going to want to do is with the other end of that string, tie a knot. Not around anything, just a knot. And the reason we're doing that, it'll make it a little easier to make it stick to the magnet. So take one of those button magnets and one of those sticky dots. The sticky dots have protective paper on either side, so just pull it away on one side. Stick the glue dot right on your magnet. And to get it off, just rip it back because it's no longer on there, it's on the magnet. And then stick your knotted string end right on top. And what you might want to do is take some of the black paper that's left over from when we made our Anansis and cut a little circle and put it right on top, and that'll kind of sandwich the glue and the knot right inside. And I'm going to trim that off because I really don't want that showing. And that's exactly what I did with my original one. So you can see maybe that there's a little piece of black paper on there to hold it in place. So my fishing rod, and I'll roll it up so you can see it. There we go. It's all set. Now all I need to do is get my fish ready to be caught. And the way we do that is by sticking a magnet on the back of each one. So once again, take your glue dot, pull off one side. On the back side of your fish, just put that dot right on there and then pull it off and stick your magnet right on. Just like that. Do that 3 times, one for each fish. Glue dot on the back of the fish. Rip it off and add the magnet. And one more. Let's see. So now I have 3 fish that can be swimming around, and when I come by with my fishing rod, I can catch them. Now, wouldn't Anansi like to be able to do that? Thank you for tuning in. Remember, there are 5 books about Anansi, so you might want to come and check some of the others out. There's one about when he has a talking melon. There's one about when he has a party. And there's one when he has a magic stick. So I hope you'll come and check out some of the other books about Anansi and enjoy playing with your Anansi and your fishing pole. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time that it's time, well, to shine the spotlight on someone special. Bye-bye.